Welcome to the Pelvic Power Podcast. My name is Penny, and I am the host of this lovely space. I am a pelvic floor yoga teacher who teaches people with pelvic pain how to use movement, breathwork, and body awareness to ease and manage their pain while living a pleasurable life. In this space, we'll be talking about all things taboo because we love it, and how to support your lovely pelvis and your lovely self on this journey that you are on. I'm very happy that you are here, and I hope that you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Pelvic Power Podcast. I'm very happy that you are here today. I had planned to record a certain episode, but I'm going to do something that I actually brought in to the podcast about 2 years ago. I did one episode and then things went down in my life, so I took a break from recording and I want to bring it back. So this episode is just called This Is Your Sign. Every time you see an episode, this is your sign. If you know me, you know I like signs. I see signs everywhere, and I feel like that part of me was kind of forgotten about for a while there, and it's something that I've started to tap into a lot more recently. And I like signs. Signs makes me happy, whether it's an animal or it's a number. Yesterday I was out for a walk with my friend and we saw a little hare, a little rabbit, a little bunny jumping around. And straight away I was like, oh, I wonder what that means. And like I have a book for animal signs and dream signs and stuff like that. So this is your sign. Welcome to This Is Your Sign podcast episode. You will not know what the podcast episode is about until you press play, because this is your sign that right now, no one else is more important in your life than you. And a lot of you might be like, but I have my kids. Yeah, your kids. I get that. You have your kids, you have your partner, you have family, you love them. How are you going to look after them if you are not prioritizing yourself first? So recently, I've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed in my life. I've been feeling quite stressed. I have a lot of things on the go. And this goes for showing up for anyone in your life. So for me, I'm single, I don't have any kids, but I show up for a lot of people in my life, specifically my students. I teach a lot of yoga classes, and if I don't look after myself, I'm not going to be able to give the energy that I want to give to my yoga students. I'm not going to help them go to wherever they want to go if I'm not supporting myself first. So this goes for everyone, even if you have kids. How are you going to look after your kids if you are not looking after yourself first? So this is your sign to prioritize yourself a bit more today. What can you do today to prioritize yourself a bit more? How can you support yourself more today so that you can support the other people in your life more? Oftentimes, we're so focused on helping as many people as we can, or looking after as many people as we can, or just prioritize other people's needs before our own. And it's on our own expense. Like you're taking from your own bucket. Your bucket is slowly running out because you're just looking out of other people. I don't know why I'm calling it a bucket. It's a fucking bucket. We're going with the bucket. But the time you're taking from your own bucket, you're providing other people with what they need. You're taking from your own bucket. Your bucket is deplenishing. Is that a word? I think it's a word. But your bucket is running out. It's running out of creativity, potential, love, healing, all the things that you need to live a life that makes you feel good. Like, especially if you're in this space and you live with pelvic pain, if you're not looking after yourself and your needs, focusing on rest, focusing on healing, focusing on showing up on your yoga mat and doing the work that you know will support your body and yourself, and instead you're just giving more to other people, like your pelvic pain is going to be like, what the fuck? When are you going to look after yourself? When are you going to look after me? I need love. I need support. I need healing. And this is why I'm so impressed and proud of my yoga students that continue to show up. You know who you are. I think you're absolutely fucking fantastic because you are looking after yourself. You're taking that 45 minute, an hour for yourself and prioritizing on your own needs to help support you. Because it's easy, this might sound a little bit harsh, but it's easy to sit there and be like, oh my God, my pain is so bad. I feel like shit. Yeah, you do feel like shit. I do feel like shit too when I'm like that. But you have a choice to prioritize yourself. I woke up this morning and I was like, okay, I am way too overworked. I am stressed the fuck out. My Ellis is just screaming at me. One point, I'm just like, okay, I can either get upset with my LS and the fact that I have LS and it's feeling fucking tight, fragile, it's feeling sticky down there, or I can look at, okay, how am I maybe, perhaps, contributing to this? I say that a lot, maybe, perhaps. It's kind of like a thing that I'm saying, I'm noticing. How am I maybe, perhaps, contributing to this? Because I'm putting others' needs above my own. I'm showing up for other people more than I'm showing up for myself. Or I'm showing up for myself in a way that isn't really supportive for my LS. I'm not taking breaks. I'm not taking time off. I'm you know how I said I am not a big fan of the hustle culture? I'm not. Like I can hear myself saying all of this that I'm saying right now and just be like, this is not even a belief of mine. This is not even a belief, but here I am. I'm working so hard. And I was talking to another friend yesterday, and we were talking about zodiac signs. And, I'm out of here, dating. That's the plan. And I'm saying that's the plan because your girl's picky, okay? And also, I don't have a lot of time. I'm very mindful of who I spend my time and my energy on. It has to be a specific person. But we were talking about zodiac signs, and she's a lot more into this than I am. And I was like, okay, so I'm a Capricorn. Like, who would I vibe with? And she's like, to be honest, Capricorns are so hard to lock down because they're so focused on work and success. I'm like, yep, that sounds like me. So when I get stuck in this hustle, 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 I'm gonna keep going, I'm on a momentum. I can tell straight away that the stress from all of that is affecting my LS. So how can I slow down? How can I slow down even more and prioritize myself? So this is your sign. What can you do for yourself today to prioritize you? Because you are the most important person. If you weren't here, your kids would not be here, okay? If you weren't thriving, if you weren't looking after your beautiful self, like this life wouldn't be your life. You have to prioritize yourself. It's super important. So what can you do? What can you do? What do you like doing? First of all, what do you like doing? I like going to therapy. I love going to therapy. It's like a mind break. It's a it's a good laugh that turns into a good cry. Just lying there on the couch. I had a therapy session 2 weeks ago. I'm doing EMDR for trauma, so that's I might be butchering this, but it's eye desensitizing, eye movement desensitizing something. I butchered that completely. But EMDR, the way that I had it explained to me, again, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist. This is just me out here. That you're connecting with both halves of the brain, either through sight, you're looking at something that's like going back and forth, or you're feeling it in your hands, so it's like a buzzing in your hands, or you're listening to it. So I have headphones on, and then it's like a beep, beep, beep in every ear, like at different points. So it goes from right ear to left ear to right ear to left ear. And then we bring up a situation that has been traumatic for me. Where do I feel that in my body? What am I noticing within myself? And we were doing one session, and I was like, yeah, like I feel it's kind of weird because it was kind of subtle. And I said to her, I'm like, I feel like I should have this like big release that is not happening right now. She's like, okay. well, feel what you feel. And I was like, oh, I feel really tired. I'm just gonna lie down. So I lie down. You know when you see a movie and they're at a therapy session and they're lying there on a couch? I've never lied on a couch at my therapist's office. I feel like that was rude, but I was like, I'm just gonna lie down here and see what happens. I lie down and we continue the beep, beep, and I just start laughing. Like I'm laughing my ass off for no fucking reason. And all of a sudden, crying, tears, just ugly crying. Such a release. And if you've ever done therapy, if you've ever done a yoga practice and you feel like I just want to laugh uncontrollably, do it. Do it. See what happens next. Because it's happened to me before when I did tremor work for the first time in November, and it was in a group of people, and I felt this urge to like laugh really, really, really loud, and I'm like holding it back because I didn't want to disrupt anyone else's thing they were going through. And then I just started bawling. I was lying there crying uncontrollably, and it's such a beautiful release. I don't know how I ended up. Yeah, I was talking about lying on the couch at my therapist's office, and that makes me feel good. How can you look after yourself today? Maybe you need a little bit of sunlight. Yeah, because now spring is arriving in Canada. Maybe you need a little bit of fucking sun on your face. Maybe you need to go out for a little bit of fresh air. Maybe you just need to sit in silence for a moment. This is something that I have a hard time with. I love meditating and breath work, and I know that they make me feel so juicy. But if I'm feeling stressed and overwhelmed, like I am right now, I have a really hard time doing that. I have a really hard time doing that. So one thing that helps me is that I invite in movement into my meditative journey. I invite that in. I'm doing some small movements. I'm doing some cat and cows, connecting with my breath at the same time. I'm starting with the movement so I can really land in my body and then sit in a meditation or work more on my breath work because it just makes me feel so good and so much more relaxed. Other things, I just did a EFT. I did tapping right before I recorded this today, and I did it on fear of being seen because when I get stressed too, that's one thing that pops up for me. As I was saying, that bucket, it's emptying, creativity going out the fucking window, and fear of being seen is, or just like being sure of yourself is also getting plucked out of the bucket. Your confidence just getting plucked the fuck out. I think that we're not looking after ourselves enough in today to actually be able to look after others. Like, think about it. One day I'm gonna fucking count how many people in my in-person yoga classes that are on their Apple Watch as we're doing the practice. Like, I get it, you have kids and stuff like that, but I also know that a lot of people do not, and they still have their Apple Watch, and I can see them actively scrolling on their Apple Watch as they're doing their practice. That in itself, it's a practice to not to be able to not look at your Apple Watch. It's hard. It is hard because we're so dialed up today. We're so reachable by other people. And this is also one of the reasons why I'm not the best at responding to texts because I get overwhelmed by texts. I get overwhelmed because there's just so much connection to me and it's hard. It's super hard. And also like coming to my advanced yoga classes in person, I am not impressed by fancy poses. I'm not impressed by how flexible you are or, what you are capable of doing. I'm impressed when you can come to a class without your Apple Watch on. Just be with yourself, which is fucking hard. I know sometimes I talk about things like it's so easy. It's not. It's not easy. It takes work. It's the same for as showing up for yourself. When I've been overwhelmed now, I'm saying breathwork meditation helps me a lot. I have a really hard time doing that in the morning when I'm overwhelmed because it is hard work. It's hard work to get to that point where it becomes a habit. And then when you lose it, it's not a habit anymore. You have to get back into that habit. So this is your sign to look after yourself. Like, what can you actually do for yourself today? That's only to do with you. Maybe you are craving a really good food that makes you feel nourished, that makes you feel more aligned with who you are, who you want to be. Maybe you want to go to the gym. Maybe you want to go hang out with a friend. What can you do for yourself? And just focus on that. Have a bath. You know, I'm all about the baths. Read a good book. Go to the bookstore. Ugh, nothing brings me more joy than going to the bookstore. I was thinking about that yesterday. I had a really long day yesterday, and I'm like, I really just want to go to the bookstore and just putz around, lollygaggle. I never know how to say that. I always say lollygaggling. I don't think it's that. I think it's lollygagging. And just putz around, find some books, and then sit down and read that book and be so into that book. Oh, it's the best experience. And it's really hard to find a book like that. I'm hoping one day soon I'll be able to go to the bookstore. It's not the same as ordering books online. It's not the same vibe. It's not the same vibe for me. I need to go to a physical bookstore for it to actually, be a juicy moment, a juicy moment. So, yes, your sign for today, look after yourself more. Because you are worthy. You are worthy of being looked after. You're worthy of feeling like your most juiciest self. You're worthy to feel rested. You are worthy. Your pelvic pain is worthy to be looked after. You are worthy. Imagine how much more you could accomplish if you actually looked after yourself first. Like, it's insane because when you think about it, a lot of people are like, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. How much time are you spending on social media? How much time are you spending worrying about things that haven't happened in your life? I do it. I do it. I do it. Everyone does it. I have made it like a rule for myself now. This is one of my newest rules. First, I need to accomplish something of the day. That could be like creating a new playlist for a yoga class or filling out my calendar or looking at my content for the week before I log on to social media. That I have to do that in the beginning of the day or clean up my kitchen, whatever. I make it a rule before I go on to social media. It takes up so much of our time, like so much of our time. Another rule, whenever I log on to Instagram, I have to either respond to a message. Again, I get overwhelmed by messages. I'm making myself overwhelmed by these messages because I'm not responding and then I'm scrolling instead. So I have to either respond to a message or I have to post on my stories or I have to post a post, like create something. That's a new rule for me. And so far, it actually feels really good. So this is your sign. Look after yourself. There were a lot of little golden gems in here, a lot of little tidbits timbits that you could take out of this. And if you have any takeaways, I would love to know. I would love to know how this resonates with you. What are you noticing? Are you actually looking after yourself? Can you do it a little bit better? What can you change in your life so that you're looking after yourself even more, so that you're getting more out of your life? And as always, remember that your body is beautiful. You're always fucking fantastic. You're a goddess. And I'm very happy that you're in this space, that you're coming here, listening to all my little stories. It makes me very happy. And now when spring's coming, put on something cute. It could be a cute top. It can be funky sunglasses. If you know me, I'm all about the funky sunglasses. Bring in a little bit more flair, a little bit more joy. I was in the elevator the other day and I walk into the elevator, it's just four men standing there. They're a bunch of different ages, like one's my age and then a couple of them older. Three of them left the elevator on the next floor and there was just me and this old man who was like 60. Sorry, I said old man. That's not very old, seeing that I'm almost 40. Uh, but he was like, I really like your sunglasses. I was wearing heart-shaped, no, yeah, heart-shaped sunglasses with little bedazzles around, black ones. So they're pretty subtle for being me. I'm not gonna lie. I know that a lot of people wouldn't wear those, but they were pretty subtle for being me. And I was like, thanks. I like collecting funky sunglasses. He's like, yeah, why be plain? Thank you. Thank you very much. Why try to make yourself fit in when you're born to stand out? Where's that quote from? If you're my age and you don't know that quote, I don't know what to tell you. Why are you trying so hard to fit in when you were born to stand out? Let me paint you the picture. It's in a boat. I'm just ranting at this point. It's in a boat. It's a girly movie. It is a girly movie. I didn't really want to say that, but it's set in England. They're in a boat. This guy is super cute. She's super cute. They're lying in a boat. They just fell in the water. He pulls her out and he's like, "Why are you trying so hard to fit in when you were born to stand out?" Ugh, gives me chills. I have to rewatch that movie. If you know that movie, I want to hear from you. Okay? I love trivia, stuff like that. So if you know that movie, let me know. Okay, until next time, look after your beautiful body, take a bath, read a book, do something that makes you feel like you. That's all we want. I love you lots. Thank you for being here. I'll talk to you soon.